Mortgage rates are around 6.5%. How is that affecting home values? Hello, everybody. My name is Roxanne Govari with Pemberley Realty, along with my partner Santiago Guerin.
Hello, everyone. Mortgage rates. Everyone wants to know if they're going to go down or not. So we're going to, give everyone a little bit more info on what we think and, our opinions. So,
Well, let me ask you, because you are hoping to be a homeowner.
mhm.
What is your opinion? Do you think you can see mortgage rates going down?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't, I mean, I don't think they're going to be going down drastically, you know, to make a huge difference. Um, so, I mean, kind of what I've been thinking is maybe, you know, buy and if they do drop, eventually in the future, if they drop a full point, then refinance. And, when I'm already sitting in my home. So that's kind of how I see things, but I don't see them coming down anytime soon.
I don't see them coming down anytime soon either. And frankly, I don't even see mortgage rates coming down to like 2.5, 3%, or even 4% at all, unless we are faced with some other, like, kind of like a major disaster like the pandemic that we experienced. I just don't see that mortgage rates are going to go to those numbers at all. So then the question becomes, if you have to buy, do you buy or do you wait? Um, you know,
I mean, I think it would be better to get in there because then when mortgage rates, if they do drop, then that's when you're going to be stuck fighting other buyers for the place.
for the place, exactly.
So I think people have to prepare themselves to be able to buy with these current rates so that they can
Mhm.
get in the market, get in there, and then eventually refinance or, change, you know, what they got to do.
I was just talking to a buyer, and he was saying that he has about $150,000 saved up, but he's still not prepared to pay like an average of $4,000 per month.
Hmm.
So he wants to wait another year and save up more money, so that he can afford his monthly payment.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably something else. Instead of sitting and waiting for interest rates to drop, if potential buyers would develop a plan to save up money to come up with a healthy down payment, that probably is a better plan than to basically sit and wait for the interest rates to drop.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Either that or if you can already afford to get it in somewhere, then I would say those are kind of the best two options. Just sitting and waiting for the rates to drop and not having a game plan is not good.
Not good. Exactly. So thinking of, okay, so what does the mortgage rate really affect? And I think it comes down to mortgage rates affect affordability, right? So if we find other ways to make to find a place that's affordable, then you kind of get around having to wait
Yeah,
for rates.
yeah,
Um, one of those ways that I think you can work around affordability is obviously location, 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 right?
yeah.
So if, for example, if we're talking about San Diego, and if you want to be in the metro area, if you're in South Park versus Golden Hill, they're relatively close to each other in terms of proximity, but South Park is a lot more pricey than Golden Hill.
Mhm.
If you can compromise on the neighborhood being a little bit less of a neighborhood, then you can definitely still buy. You don't have to wait for the rates to drop. You can still buy just in a neighborhood that's not as expensive.
Yeah. And what are some neighborhoods that you would consider that are more on the inexpensive side compared to, you know, but this area, University Heights? Um,
Well, you could, for example, if you're talking about University Heights, you can then compare it to City Heights, right?
mhm.
And then things all of a sudden become a lot more affordable, and you're relatively in the same kind of an area where you're not too far away from your target area of University Heights, but things are a lot more affordable.
Yeah.
Like for example, if you were thinking of, okay, I'm working, let's consider North County. If I'm working in Del Mar or Carmel Valley, right? Del Mar or Carmel Valley may be way out of my price range, but what if you look at Escondido or San Marcos? Those areas are going to be a lot more affordable and still within, uh, uh, not I'm not going to say an easy commute, but a doable commute,
Yeah.
right? So and the same thing goes for up and down the coast. Like if you think of like for example, Bayho versus Claremont, right?
Yeah.
Claremont is going to be a lot more affordable than Bayho, and so I think these are some of the things that you can play around with, rather than just interest rate. Another thing is, like if you're thinking of a single family home, then change that to like condos or townhomes or two families. If you look, like for example, sometimes because we're in the metro area, and if you're considering just the metro area, sometimes you can buy a two family for the same price that you find a single family for,
Yeah.
because and we were talking about this with one of our clients. Why is it that two families are uh, you know uh, less expensive? And if you think about, and that's where basically goes with the value of a lifestyle, right? Because if I have the money and I want to live a certain lifestyle, and I don't want to have to share that home with a tenant, then I'm willing and able to pay a lot more for that single family home that's going to accommodate my lifestyle, right? Versus going and buying a two family that I would have to share with a tenant. But at the same time, if affordability is an issue, then it works the other way, right? You can go and look at a two family, 2 to 4 unit kind of a place, and all of a sudden it becomes a lot more affordable for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
So um, and San Diego, of course, we have in the past, like after COVID, uh, San Diego has made some leaps and bounds, both in terms of growth and in terms of price appreciation. Because the fact that we're a desirable destination
Hmm.
within the major coastal cities of San Diego of California makes us very desirable. And once COVID hit and everybody could work from home, all of a sudden we're just as we became just as expensive as San Francisco and San Jose, because those guys could work from San Diego because everybody started working remotely.
Yeah.
And our prices basically caught up to their prices overnight, which made it hard for us who are not earning those salaries here in the city of San Diego, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
I think we're seeing a little bit of that prices appreciation kind of starting to shed,
Yeah.
right? Like I was looking at something that we sold in 2022, a condo that we sold in 2022 for 675, And back then, the price was 650, and we paid 675 because the demand was so high. And now, if we are lucky, we're going to get the same price of 675 just to get
Mhm.
out of the same property.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not 2020, 2021 prices anymore, huh?
No, no. No, and I think it's just what the sellers have to get adjusted to, that, we're trying to we're starting to shed a little bit of those price appreciations that we experienced through
Yeah.
2020, through 2021 and early 2022.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, right? So we just have to deal with it. The other part is that the buyers have become a lot more selective.
Yeah. Yeah. I,
So as a buyer, as somebody who has more of a mind of a buyer, why do you think that is?
well, I think because, with the current state of the country, I mean, I think people are a little bit more careful on what they're spending money on. Maybe being a little bit more selective, making sure that, you know, stuff doesn't come up later. Like, when it comes down to home inspections and stuff like that, I would say they're a lot more pickier now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm gonna be paying this mortgage, and then if I get a, $10,000, repair that comes up, then I'm gonna be in the, underwater. So I
Hmm.
think now everyone's a little bit more careful, when maybe back then, things were a little bit, people could afford maybe things coming up. So I think that's kind of one of the reasons why people are being a little bit more scared to jump in.
Hmm. Hmm. That's true. That's true. Even though I mean, you may be scared of costs, but it's interesting to me that people are not scared of spending the same amount of money on rents.
Yeah. Hmm. And I think because the cost of living too is a little bit more expensive
Mm.
than before. So that also, I think, plays a little factor to, people's, when they're running their financials and seeing, okay, is it worth it? But, if now certain payments are more than they used to be before, then that might be an issue.
Yeah, yeah. And but the home ownership, the reason why everybody thinks of the American dream, and everybody thinks of ownership as a safe bet, and a hedge against inflation, is
Hmm.
um, because if you're not looking at the pandemic situation where things go up very quickly and come down very quickly, or if you're not looking at the mortgage meltdown of 2008, that same thing happened, in 2000, uh, uh, 3, 4, and 5, things went up quickly and then crashed quickly. If you're looking at more of a normal market, something that we experienced from 2012 to, I would say, to 2019, then you're basically looking at a gradual a price appreciation. So in that case, then you are better off being a homeowner,
Yeah,
because then you get in, you have a fixed mortgage rate that's not going to go up. You can do whatever you want in the home. You can paint the walls green. You can do whatever landscaping. You can have however many animals that you want to have, which are the benefits of home ownership, because you may not be able to do any of those things if you're renting,
that's true. That's
right?
true. Yeah. Right.
Um, but then also, well, another thing that's interesting with higher rates. Higher rates have created two sets of markets, right? Two bracket of homes for sale. One is the bracket of homes that sell quickly, and
Yeah.
one is the bracket of homes that sit and don't
Yeah.
sell. And we
Hmm.
have both of them, right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have we have homes that are selling quickly, and we have homes that are sitting on the market and are not selling.
Yeah. I think the only ones that are selling quick are, cherry homes, the ones that are, already move-in ready, super upgraded, well maintained. Anything other than that, usually it's been sitting a little bit.
Longer, exactly. And so I would say there's kind of like a check box for the homes that sell quickly and a check box for the homes that sit on the market. So check box for homes that sell quickly, they're priced well, they're remodeled and updated, they're in desirable neighborhoods, and they're marketed aggressively.
Yeah.
So those are the homes that are selling quickly, right? And that is basically a cherry home, like we talk, like you're describing.
Yeah.
What about the homes that sell? What do you think is wrong with the homes that are sitting on the market?
I mean, I would say that the opposites of what we just mentioned. So if sellers are putting a really high price tag on it,
Mhm.
thinking, back to 2020, 2021, um, not having an aggressive number. Um,
Aspirationally priced,
exactly. Yeah. I would say that also, a lot of deferred maintenance on the property.
dated,
Yeah.
dated, right?
Maybe at least have a paint job inside the property, make it look a little bit more, presentable. Um, what other things? I mean, I would say those are like the big main ones. Uh,
Poorly marketed,
yeah,
right? And also kind of like and in this type of these type of homes, I think basically overpricing is the biggest issue. Overpricing basically causes you to chase the market down,
yeah,
and that uh, usually is the worst thing that you can do.
yeah. I agree.
So now, the other thing that I'm thinking is, so with everything that we're talking about, how come the market hasn't crashed? If interest rates are high, right? If 6.5 is high, and if affordability is in trouble, then how come the market hasn't crashed?
That's a great question. I'm not sure.
I think the reason why the market has not crashed is because you have many, many homeowners that have a lot of equity in their homes. You have a lot of homeowners that are holding on to those lower priced interest rates. So a lot of homes are in those interest rates of 3 or 4%. So those ones are not going to be in trouble.
Mhm.
You have a lot of homeowners that basically own their homes outright. So those homeowners are not going to be in trouble, right? So right there, you have two categories of homeowners that are not going to be in trouble, and and despite what we saw in 2008, where you had a lot of people that had bad loans or arm loans that were resetting, and the interest rates were going up so much higher on them, and they couldn't afford to pay those interest rates. In the since 2009, I would say anybody that has lent to any homeowner, those those mortgages are not resetting, and they're not in a position where the person cannot afford to pay them anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
So I think that's the reason why the market is not crashing.
yeah. It's a very interesting take. Yeah, I mean, and it's scary to hear. I mean, I really don't wish for the market to crash because then that would be, uh, you know, hard on everyone. So
Yeah, that would be hard on everyone. I agree with you. That will be hard on everyone, but that's why I think that right now is still a great market to buy and to sell.
Yeah.
Because if you are realistic in pricing your property to whatever the market is dictating right now, then you still are getting a good price for it, and you can move on to whatever bigger and better things that you want to do. And if you're a buyer and if you have the money and you want to buy the cherry properties, there's lots of homeowners that are working hard to make sure their homes are those cherry properties, and therefore you can get into a desirable home,
Yeah.
right? And relatively for a good price, because the realistic sellers know that they have to work well with buyers. They cannot be super demanding, and or they cannot be super unreasonable, because that's not going to work with today's buyers,
Yeah.
right? So that's on one end, and on the other end, if you have buyers that really have to let go of the property, and if you have sellers that really have to let go of the property, and multiple offers are nowhere to be seen, then
Yeah.
that buyer that comes in and wants to buy that property, they're going to be able to negotiate and get a great deal.
Yeah. Yeah, that was what I was gonna bring up. I think right now, if you're a buyer and you have the means, there's less competition, meaning you
Hmm.
can probably get a good deal.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Now, of course, we all hope for that for that interest rate to go below 6.5 or below 6%, and if that happens, yes, affordability will pick up, and so will the prices.
Yeah.
So it's a catch 22. Let me ask you, as a somebody who likes to buy, what would you prefer? Interest rates to stay higher or interest rates to go lower?
I don't know, because if the interest rates go lower, there's gonna be the pool of buyers might go up, then that means prices might go up. So I think if you're a buyer, I think, these rates are should be the ones you should be going for, I think.
I totally agree. I think that, if interest rates stay up higher, that basically means that you get to pick up a home at a great price and
Yeah.
negotiate well. Why would you wait for interest rates to drop to then go and compete with a bunch of other buyers, possibly lose your dream home to somebody else because there's competition, and you won't be able to negotiate as well. So you have heartbreak over heartbreak. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe interest rates may be lower, but you may experience heartbreak after heartbreak.
Yeah. Yeah. You pick your poison.
You pick your poison. That's
You
true.
can't win on both ends, right? Either you
You
have
cannot
one,
win on both ends.
yeah, you have great prices and good negotiation power with the higher interest rates, or if they're very low, you're going to be competing with a million other buyers out there.
I totally agree. I
So
totally agree. All right, very good. Well, that's the long and short of it today, right? So let's put ourselves out there, everybody. If you are thinking of buying or selling, there is my phone number, and we're specifically buying and selling in San Diego, but we have our partners all over the country, so you can definitely reach out to us and ask us for any questions. We're happy to answer. There is Santiago's phone number.
right there.
And of course, you can check us out on our website at Pemberley Realty. We also like to hang out on Instagram, and then we would really appreciate it if you give us a follow, if you watch us on Instagram or on Facebook. And of course, if they are seeing us on YouTube, Santi, what do you want them to do?
Thumbs up and subscribe so that they can see all our upcoming videos, and then see with our guests too, amazing guests that we bring in and talk about, you know, what's going on.
Talk about all kinds of different topics.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today and make it a great day.
All right, everyone.